Desperate getaway. How much time one woman could face for speeding away from a traffic stop and knocking over deputies in the process.
Plus, skipping trial. Why the teens accused of killing an Albuquerque man could escape their day in front of a jury. Also this.
They've been dirty players historically, and I have to fight back the way I have to fight back.
Plus, fighting for the White House, Donald Trump hits the campaign trail in New Mexico today. What our governor is saying about attending his own rally just ahead. Good morning, everybody. 6 o'clock here on KRQE News 13 this morning. I'm Adam Atchison.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Krista Gutierrez. Thanks so much for joining us on this May 24th. We're covering breaking overnight news. We'll get to that in just a moment, but first, we're going to check your forecast. And Kristen is watching fire danger out there today. Something to know, Kristen.
Yes, absolutely. We have red flag warnings up for some parts of this state today because of the gusty winds and the low humidity. But temperatures, nothing we got to worry about. You'll notice the national numbers show 40s and 50s out across the western side of the nation. You'll find those warmer temps on the other side in the 60s and 70s. Dallas currently sitting at 75. That's also where we have more moisture. So the dry line is actually to the east of us. So I don't expect any of those storms to fire here in New Mexico today. We're just going to be left with some warm temps and a lot of sunshine. Temps across the state right now in the 30s up in Taos, Durango, and Cortez. The rest of us pretty much splitting those 40s, 50s, and 60s. You'll find the warmer numbers out across the far southern edge of our state. But this afternoon, we're talking 80s, around normal for this time of year, but another round of wind headed our way, which will increase the fire danger combined with the dry conditions. So I'll break down today's forecast as well as when we can expect cooler temperatures coming up.
And we'll turn out to breaking news. Overnight, 2 people have been sent to the hospital. More than 50 others are out of their homes after a motel fire. AFD was working all morning to put the flames out at the Desert Sands Motel. That's on Central near San Mateo. That's where you find News 13's Sarah Yingling with the very latest. Good morning, Sarah.
Good morning, Crystal. Firefighters are starting to clear the scene right now, but as officials investigate this fire, APD still has this section of Central from Jackson to San Mateo eastbound shut down right now. Westbound just opened up. Now, although it's a motel, we're told many of those staying here are actually living here extendedly. They say they saw smoke and flames when they first arrived. About 2/3 of the building was engulfed in flames, forcing 57 people to be displaced from their homes. Witnesses tell us they heard a loud boom right before the fire started. While they were on the scene earlier this morning, we saw 2 CSI units, but AFD is unable to say if foul play was involved.
Until we get the fire fully under control, to get our investigators on scene, we're unable to determine the cause at this time.
At this time, 2 people were taken to the hospital for smoke inhalation. Since this is a place many people are staying at, Red Cross is on scene assisting with those people who were displaced. Now, once again, westbound is just opened up, but this side of Central is still shut down, so you might want to take a different route if you're planning on going this direction. Back to you.
All right, thanks for that update, Sarah. We will keep you updated on air and through our KRQE News app on the latest developments of this massive fire. Again, KRQE.com. On to other news happening right now. New Mexico back in the political spotlight this morning as Donald Trump and former President Bill Clinton make stops here later on today. And meanwhile, APD is staying busy prepping for Trump's arrival in downtown Albuquerque. That's because some protests in other states have become rowdy, even violent. People here have been posting messages on social media saying they do plan to protest Trump's visit, with some even threatening to shut down the rally. But APD mobile surveillance cameras are going to be keeping an eye out, and all of APD's mounted patrols will also be on the job today. APD will be working alongside BCSO and state police. The rally set to be held at the Albuquerque Convention Center beginning at 7 o'clock tonight. Bus detours, though, start early at 7:30 this morning. For parking and detour information, just check out the KRQE News app. Republican Governor Susana Martinez says she will not be at today's rally for Donald Trump.
You know, I'm really busy, and I'm the governor of New Mexico, and I'm really focused on what's going on here in New Mexico.
The governor has taken jabs at Trump while campaigning for Marco Rubio and criticized some of Trump's comments on Mexican immigrants. But since Rubio dropped out of the race, she has yet to endorse anyone else. More than a dozen Republican governors have endorsed Republican candidate Donald Trump, many who previously backed other candidates. Martinez says Trump has not reached out to her to persuade her to attend.
The Democratic Party will have some representation in our state as well today. Former President Bill Clinton will be in New Mexico campaigning for his wife Hillary. He's scheduled to be in Espanola today and then in Albuquerque tomorrow. Bernie Sanders was in Santa Fe and Albuquerque on Friday. He campaigned in Vado over the weekend Saturday. We're going to be live at both these events, and you can stay up to date on our KRQE News app. We'll be streaming both rallies there as well. Stay with KRQE News 13. We'll bring you the very latest updates on all of our areas on air, online, and on the KRQE News app. 6:05 now as we turn to this. Deals for a group of Albuquerque teens accused of killing a local bartender could be in the works this morning, which means the accused might never go to trial. Police released the information during a court hearing yesterday for 14-year-old Enrique Palomino. Investigators say Palomino was among a group of kids who shot and killed Stephen Garrick in his driveway last summer. Prosecutors say they're working on possible plea agreements. Palomino was in court asking that a statement he made not be used during his trial. The judge is still weighing that request right now.
On to other news happening now. Albuquerque police continue their search for a couple they say killed a man by hitting and dragging him with an SUV. Police say 46-year-old Richard Cisneros was hit on Virginia near Wyoming in the Northeast Heights last Friday night. Police say the crime was captured on surveillance video. The suspects were in a black, smaller model SUV. Take a look at your TV screens there. Police say a Hispanic man in his late teens or early 20s with dark brown or black hair was driving. His passenger is described as a white or Hispanic woman with dark hair.
Happening right now, Albuquerque police say they are still waiting on drug test results this morning for a man driving the wrong way when he hit a city bus head on.
Hermosa and Lomas vehicle just hit a bus.
In March, a black Dodge Challenger crossed the median on Lomas near Girard, took out a power pole, and then hit a bus. The driver told police he blacked out and had taken cold medicine earlier in the day. APD says he had no alcohol in his system, but they are still awaiting the results of a drug test. We're not naming the driver because he's not been charged. Online court records show a man, though, with the same name has been arrested 3 times for DWI and even had his car seized by APD a couple of years ago.
Happening today, an Albuquerque man who robbed an interlock company he had recently used is awaiting sentencing this morning. Rayf Hayes was arrested after he went into the ABQ interlock that's near Manal and University with a pistol last year. He fired a shot into the ceiling and demanded cash. Workers recognized him from being in there a week and a half earlier. He pleaded guilty in federal court yesterday and is facing up to 10 years behind bars.
Happening today, Bill Cosby is expected in court in Philadelphia on a sex assault case. The preliminary hearing will determine whether prosecutors have enough evidence to send that 78-year-old entertainer to trial. Cosby is accused of drugging and molesting former Temple University employee Andrea Constant at his suburban Philadelphia mansion in 2004. The judge will decide tomorrow whether there's probable cause for that trial to go forward. If so, he'll set a trial date. Cosby denies Constant's accusation, saying that their encounter was consensual.
A Wisconsin woman is facing serious charges this morning after a traffic stop takes a horrific turn. Take a look at this. 2 Milwaukee County deputies stopped a car for speeding. The driver's license was suspended, so deputies called a tow truck. Dash cam video shows the passenger got out of the car with deputies nearby. Yeah, that's when all of a sudden the driver backs up, slams into the squad car, speeds off, knocking over the deputies and smashing the passenger. Police caught the driver just days later, who's now facing felony and misdemeanor charges. The passenger suffered the most extensive injuries here because she was actually smashed into the wall. You can see it right there.
Oh, yeah, quite a hit.
Very
Yikes. Coming up on 6:09 now, new this morning, more than 50% of kids say they're addicted to their mobile devices. In this new report by a group called Common Sense, more than 1,200 parents and their kids ages 12 to 18 were interviewed. It found that tweens spend almost 6 hours per day on TV, video games, social media, and the internet. Teens spend more than 9 hours per day on the same things. And to wean your child off, experts say establish rules for mobile devices early. Number 1, establish media-free times during meals or 1 hour before bedtime. Also, establish media-free zones, no phones or tablets in bedrooms or in cars, and limit their number of social media posts per week to around 5. If you want to read the full report, we have it posted on our website right now, KRQE.com.
A clerk fights back the weapon he used to go up against 2 robbers armed with a gun and knife. That's coming up.
Then Donald Trump takes on New Mexico, but not everybody's going to be behind him at the podium today. Why the governor says she's sitting this rally out.
Then we're following breaking overnight news. Dozens of Albuquerque residents forced from their homes. What witnesses say they heard before a massive blaze broke out overnight.
And first this morning, we're getting our first look at the damage done to a southeast Albuquerque motel in an overnight fire.
Yet 2 people have been sent to the hospital, more than 50 others out of their homes today. Central Avenue just reopened near the Desert Sands Motel. That's where we find News 13's Sarah Yingling with the very latest on this massive fire. Good morning, Sarah.
That's right, Crystal. The scene is almost all clear now, and like you said, Central Avenue is back open in both directions. But if you take a look behind me at Desert Sands Motel, you can see just how extensive the fire damage is, especially right underneath the Welcome to Albuquerque sign, and to the right where you can see a good chunk of the roof is missing right now. AFD says it happened around 1:45 this morning when 22 units were sent to the apartment complex to fight the fire. They say they saw smoke and flames when they first arrived. About 2/3 of the building was engulfed in flames, forcing 57 people to be displaced from their homes. At this time, 2 people have been taken to the hospital with smoke inhalation. Witnesses tell us right before the fire started, they heard a loud boom.
Our primary concern, focus is on evacuation and search and rescue operations. With this, as in any fire emergency, our #1 priority is the safety of the public.
Right now, Red Cross is helping the people who were displaced from their homes find somewhere else to go. And like I said, Central Avenue is open in both directions, so if you're planning on going this way, you don't have to worry about finding an alternate route. Back to you.
Thanks so much, Sarah. Now, we will keep you updated on air and through our KRQE News app as the latest information on this massive motel fire comes into our newsroom. Another big talker this morning, of course, is the weather.
Yeah, Kristen's watching fire danger today. What do we need to know, Kristen?
Gusty winds and low humidity going to make for a bad situation if we even see one spark get out there. So let's first start with this morning's temperatures. Not that bad across the southeast, as we're still sitting very comfortably in the 60s out in parts of Lee County. But everybody else splitting the 40s and 50s across central New Mexico. We're in the 30s up there to the north, 34 in Taos to start the day. But Albuquerque playing on the 80s coming back today and again tomorrow. Sunshine overhead, but we're getting ready for a cool off too by Thursday and Friday. So today's about the high fire danger because of those gusty winds. The good news is allergy report shows chenopods up to medium, but everything else is down to low. So not too much of a concern there, but I'll break down where I expect fire dangers to be the highest today, as well as what you can expect your temperatures to do with that late week cool down coming up here in about 10 minutes.
On to news happening right now. New Mexico's back in the political spotlight this morning as Donald Trump and former President Bill Clinton make stops here later today.
Meanwhile, APD is staying busy prepping for Trump's arrival in downtown Albuquerque. That's because some protests in other states have been rowdy, even violent. People here have been posting messages on social media saying they plan to protest Trump's visit too, some even threatening to shut down the rally. APD says they don't expect any problems, but they say that they are prepared. Mobile surveillance cameras will be keeping an eye out, and all of APD's mounted patrols will also be on the job today.
They're higher so people can see them better, they're more visible, and everyone loves the horses. So we're hoping they also act as a calming influence on everyone.
APD will be working alongside BCSO and state police. The rally set to be held at the Albuquerque Convention Center tonight at 7 o'clock. Bus detours, though, start early in about an hour at 7:30. So for parking and more detour information, check out our KRQE News app.
And while thousands are expected out at today's Trump rally, there's one face you will not see. Republican Governor Susana Martinez says she is skipping the events. In the past, she did endorse Marco Rubio and even took jabs at Trump while campaigning for Rubio. She's also criticized some of Trump's comments on Mexican immigrants. The governor says so far Trump has not reached out to her to persuade her to attend.
The Democratic Party will have some representation in our state today as well. Former President Bill Clinton will be in New Mexico campaigning for his wife Hillary. He will be in Espanola today, and then he's scheduled to be in Albuquerque tomorrow. Bernie Sanders was in Santa Fe and Albuquerque on Friday. He campaigned later in Vado on Saturday. Of course, we're going to have all of the campaign coverage today and throughout the election season. Stay on top of everything with the KRQE News app. There you can find times, locations, And more details about today's event. We'll stream it too if you can't make it in person.
On to other news happening today in just hours. A murder trial for a former New Mexico deputy accused of gunning down a fellow lawman continues. Today, the slain deputy's wife could take the stand. Former Santa Fe County Sheriff's Deputy Ty Chan is on trial for the 2014 murder of his partner, Jeremy Martin. Chan's attorneys say he acted in self-defense, but prosecutors describe Chan as the aggressor who shot Martin in the back. The two got into an argument at a Las Cruces hotel after a night of drinking, which ended in that deadly shooting. Las Cruces police officer Connie Hurd found Martin in the lobby and tried to help. She testified yesterday.
As soon as I got his shirt off, there were too many holes to deal with, to be quite honest with you.
So we do have a crew in Las Cruces. We'll bring the very latest developments in the courtroom today on air and through our KRQE News app.
Also happening now, investigators are looking into whether a man's death near the Animas River involved foul play. The Durango Herald reports that 40-year-old Randy Shaw's body was found Saturday afternoon. Authorities say the Kansas veteran was in a sleeping bag near the river's edge in Durango. Detectives say there were no obvious signs of trauma.
As we head into the summer travel season, the city of Albuquerque is about to save a lot of money on gas. For the past several years, the city has locked in its gas prices in advance, making sure they have the same rate for its thousands of police cars and other city vehicles. Starting in July, the city is going to be paying $1.63 for unleaded for a year. This is even before prices start to pick up for the summer driving season, creating about $1.4 million in savings. Last year, though, the city actually lost money.
The head of security at TSA out of a job today. The move to replace Kelly Hogan came amid issues over security lines at airports nationwide in recent weeks. Hogan, who'd been in the position since 2013, also came under fire for bonuses that he got, including one totaling $90,000.
Back in New Mexico, researchers at NMSU are narrowing down which mosquito repellents are best just in time for summer and as concerns about the Zika virus ramp up. They found bracelets and wristbands have little effect on mosquitoes. Meanwhile, off clip-on devices not only repel, but they also kill the pesky bugs. The study mentions the most reliable sprays are those with DEET in them. The final results of the research will be released later this summer.
And new this morning, a report out today shows that while some muscle cars might be fast and fun for drivers, they may not offer the best crash protection. For the first time, the Insurance Institute for Highway Safety ran the 2016 Camaro, Ford Mustang, and Dodge Challenger through a series of crash tests. When it came to side impact and moderate overlap frontal crashes, all three earned a good rating. Only the Mustang came closest to clinching the coveted Top Safety Pick Award. The tests come at a time when the three muscle cars are becoming popular, more and more popular among consumers.
On to news happening right now. Major League Baseball says it is investigating after a gay men's choir was supposedly snubbed at a recent game in San Diego. Take a listen. Can you see? That's what fans heard instead of the voices of the San Diego men's choir. They were actually singing on the field, but instead a recorded track of a woman singing the national anthem solo was heard before the game. Members say they were stunned and even shocked. Now the MLB is investigating and the contractor responsible has been fired. They've been invited to sing again. Still, the men say they're unsure if they'll actually come back.
A California convenience store owner is back in business this morning after fighting off two would-be robbers looking for trouble. Man says he was working his usual shift yesterday when a couple of people walked through the doors. He says they started making threats and demanding cash right away. One had a knife, the other was carrying a gun, and that's when the clerk grabbed a golf club and went for him. And you may be able to see they took off here in the video in a moment. There they are, and they hopped into a getaway car. Police are still looking for the robbers right now, but the clerk says he's glad he didn't back down. Still, it's not always a good idea to confront people, especially if they're armed.
Mess with the wrong clerk, but police advise against that.
All right.